Just explain what the news is with Scott.
Well, Scott's injury is quite severe. He's probably going to need surgery, so we released him back to the Scarlets and hopefully get back playing as soon as possible.
How much of a blow is that?
Well, it is a blow because we're a little bit short on injuries, in centres, should I say. Obviously with Jonathan Davis out as well. And we're everyone just keeping the fingers crossed really that nothing happens to Jamie over the weekend. He's playing in France, so just keep your fingers crossed.
Jonathan Davis obviously had a reaction to that game back from the Scarlets. Is there any more news on him?
Well, the news is he's hopeful to play a part in the campaign at some stage, but not quite yet.
So he's ruled out for the France game as well?
Well, he's not training this week, put it this way, so I think it's pretty doubtful that he'll play against France.
What's the reaction been this week in training? Obviously, lots of the squad not here, but following on from a disappointing defeat.
Well, obviously, we're all disappointed at the way that we played, having only lost one game out of the last 11 Six Nations games and not lost away from home for well over 2 years. I think it was 2 years. To lose by a score of that size was incredibly disappointing. We learned from last year that you don't have to win every game to win the Six Nations, and if the scoreline had been a little bit closer, maybe in hindsight we probably should have took the kicks at goal, etc., and maybe tightened our game up, and a 6 or 9 point loss wouldn't have been too bad really, knowing that points difference can make the difference in the end.
Have you learnt quite a lot about the squad in the last 7 days, maybe?
Well, we've learned that there's two parts of the game we were deficient in. One, absolutely no doubt about it, was the driven lineouts, defending driven lineouts, and we'll be putting a lot of work in on that over the next few weeks, particularly going into France, because France have got a very strong driven lineout themselves. We conceded 17 points from that situation, and that basically was the difference in the game. And also the contact area was a little bit of a concern. Ireland were very aggressive at the contact area, and we got turned over more than we often do.
What do you make of France? Because they're the one team in the Six Nations seem to be scoring tries out wide.
Yeah, well, they're scoring in a variety of different ways, and we're probably a good example of that. We've considered tries in all different sorts of facets of the play. From intercepts to driven lineouts to turnovers, whatever. And France are pretty much replicating that themselves. The chipping over the top. Fofana just picked the ball up, loose ball from the ruck the other day, and scored an amazing try. But I still believe that France are very, very strong through the forwards, and if we can win that battle on the advantage line and stop the maul, we'll be in with a big chance.
Is all the attention this week going to be on France out wide, or is it just going to be the pack have got to be sorted out before anything else happens?
No, well, I think you always got to start with your forwards, and I think the tactics that Ireland employed. Have you ever seen a Leinster backline play as little to the backs as much as they did in that game? There's probably a reason for that, because it was against a rush style of defence. They took us on through the middle, and it's something which I expect France to try and do the same.
It's a little while since Wales have been in this situation. Is this a funny feeling
lost
for you
the
all?
Game?
Lost by that margin. Is this a funny feeling for you all?
Well, it's not a nice feeling, put it that way. As you say, the margin of loss was really added to by the fact that we tried to win the game, even though we was losing 19-3 at one stage. In hindsight, if we'd have just tried to scrape it to like a 19-12, that would have been much better for us in the championship. But that's never been our mindset. Our mindset always is to try to win games. And looking back, really, it hurt us a little bit because of the points difference. And as I'm repeating myself, and obviously we won the championship last year on points difference. But I don't think we're going to change that the way. We always want to try to win the games. But maybe next time hopefully there won't be a next time where we're losing by 19 points to 3.
France are a team you've got a good record against, particularly at home. Does that give you some encouragement?
Well, France were our bogey team for a while. But we couldn't seem to be able to beat them, and I think they won about 3 on the trot against us, including obviously the semi-final of the World Cup. The last two times it's gone our way by very, very narrow margins. One score, the last game was 2 scores, but very, very narrow games. And you know, there's no doubt that going into, you know, after a Lions tour, that, you know, the stats say that France are a pretty good chance of winning the Six Nations. So we've got to try to prevent that from happening, and that starts on Friday, week of Friday.
In terms of the likes of Sam Warburton, Gethin Jenkins going back to play regional rugby, 10 players released this week. What are you hoping to achieve from that?
Match fitness.
Is that because that was something that was obviously lacking in Ireland?
Well, if you haven't, like Gethin hadn't played for quite a while, you know, you're lacking a bit of match fitness. Sam hadn't played for a while, and you know, you can try to recreate it in training as much as you like, but there's nothing like playing.
This week, is it shouting at the players or arm around the players? What's the approach?
Well, not really, because then it'd be a waste of time, you know. But there would probably be words wasted, really, because obviously we've only got half a squad here, even if that. And but obviously early next week, we'll quickly review the last game, because it will feel quite a long while has passed since the game. But we'll certainly look at a few aspects of the game, and as I said, you know, that will start up front.
And finally, the fans can expect a response next Friday night.
Yeah, so it's a Six Nations game. We still feel we're in the hunt, but you know, it's a absolute must-win game for us if we're going to retain our title.